This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. Today on the show, the Beatles have a new song. They're making a live-action Legend of Zelda movie. Plus, we make some headway on my Blink-182 interview dream. All that and more on 20th Century Boy, the only podcast that's on not like Donkey Kong. Welcome to 20th Century Boy. My name is Mike Fairlady, and this is the inside of my mind. Welcome to another episode, guys. Quickly getting to the end of the year now. Really spiraling towards December. And as always, I will remind you that, we are currently in the Nomus period. That is the period where you do not celebrate Christmas under any circumstances. Christmas celebrations are absolutely not allowed during November. They start only on December 1st. Of course, my name is Radio Mike, not Mike Fairlady, but I start the show each week with a different Mike-themed name, and this week I went with Mike Fairlady. Seriously, send some suggestions in because I'm really running dry. I think we've done nearly all of them now, and I keep a little log of them, but let's keep sending them in. Welcome to 20th Century Boy, the conversations you wish you were having about the stuff that no one else cares about. I hope you are enjoying being here. If it's your first time, welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome back. Of course, as always, you can jump on the Patreon, patreon.com/RadioMike for a bunch of exclusive content. Would love to have you there. Fair bit to talk about today. I had a couple things. First thing that I want to talk about and / need to talk about is, hey, I'm doing another live show. Start of this year, February 4th, I think it was, we did a live show for my other podcast, Harry Potter and the Boys, where me and good friend of mine, Sammy Garlep, stand-up comedian and writer extraordinaire from here in Melbourne as well, read my Harry Potter fan fiction. We did a live show. There was about 50 people there. It was awesome fun. Had a great time. And we're doing another one. It's December 15th, 7 p.m. at the Cooper's Inn in the city. You can get tickets right now, radiomike.com.au. This is a plug for it because it's my live show and this is my podcast. It's the only other way I can get the word out there. Don't have a PR team or a marketing team or any kind of team behind me. So I just have to go straight to the source, which is you guys who listen. If you don't listen to Harry Potter and the Boys, first of all, start. Second of all, come along anyway. There's a lot of just chit-chat and random banter. So if you like listening to me, you'll probably enjoy the live show. Plus, it's probably the only way you'll be able to see me live for the next little while. I'm still working my way up to potentially doing an actual live comedy show. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So come along. Tickets are pretty cheap. I think it's like $25. If you're in the Discord, you get a 10% discount on that. So yeah, just jump on. I might make a discount code for TCB listeners if the tickets aren't selling. But yeah, please come and support the show. I would absolutely love to see you there, and it would mean the world if we've already sold a bunch of tickets, which is awesome. But yeah, it would mean the world to me to see a bunch of you there on the night. I know a few of you in the Discord have already told me you can't come, but for anyone who is just solo and is worried about coming by themselves, don't be. I'll come say hi. So please jump on board. Really want to see you at the live show. Had a fun weekend. I was up in Darwin for work over the weekend, which was a lot of fun, especially the non-work related activities. Obviously, we were there doing this croc thing for another show I work on, and the thing about Darwin, like I haven't actually done much travel in Australia. Like when I was a kid, like I've obviously go to Sydney for work. Sydney sucks. We hate Sydney on this show. We're an official anti-Sydney show. We are the leader of the podcasts against the PAS, Podcasts Against Sydney union. So if there's any others out there, feel free to join. But when I was a kid, Dad used to take us to the Gold Coast and we'd go to like Movie World and Wet and Wild and stuff. And where else have I been? I've never been to Adelaide. I've never been to Perth. I've been to Canberra when I was a kid. I've never been to Tasmania. So, yeah, really, this was, the first time I've been to Darwin. Sweltering hot, and it's apparently about to enter the wet season, but 35-degree heat. Here in Melbourne, it is getting hotter, but not past 30s at the moment. But that being said, Melbourne summers do kind of peak in like the mid to high 40s sometimes, which is pretty hot. Like for Fahrenheit users, I think 40 degrees Celsius is around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So 45 degrees is above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyway, had a really fun time. We did jet skiing, which again, I've only ever done jet skiing once. But it was when I was 16 and we went to Hamilton Island actually on a family holiday, or maybe 15, maybe 14, probably 14 actually. It doesn't matter to you at all. Went jet skiing with my dad, but I was under 18 obviously, so I wasn't allowed to actually operate one. So I just had to hang on to the back of my dad while he was driving it. And it was a lot of fun. But this was better because I was actually driving one. And I don't know if anyone listening has jet ski before. It's fun. And it can be really scary. I think I was saying, because we started going at like 20 kilometers an hour just to warm up. Then we went to 40. And by the end, we were doing 60 kilometers an hour. Even at 40 kilometers an hour, I was saying like, it's amazing how fast you realize how fast 40 actually is when you're like on a jet ski in the open air as opposed to a car. Like when you're in a car doing 40, and like here in Australia, like the speed limits, slow is 40, and then normal speed limit would be about 60, and then highways and freeways, you'd be going like 100, right? You realize how fast 40 actually is when you're on a jet ski. When you're in a car going 40, you're like, this is so slow, this sucks. When you're on a jet ski, you're like, oh my God, this is so fast. And like, there were times where I was getting genuine air time, just like nearly coming off the jet ski entirely. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And there was pretty choppy water as well. So you were bouncing a lot. But overall, such an exhilarating thing. And the other thing about Darwin that was incredible, because it's at the top of Australia, that's why it's so hot, is it was literally okay, growing up in Melbourne, you go to the beaches here in Melbourne, whether it's South Melbourne or St Kilda or like wherever you're going, the water is freezing cold all year round. Darwin, dipped my foot in the water while we were jet skiing. Maybe like, it felt like 20 degree, like it was beautiful warm water. You just wanted to jump in for a swim. Like it was incredibly beautiful. I've never felt water that is just naturally, beach water that is naturally warm. So incredible, such an incredible experience. You just wanted to jump in. The sun was setting. It was a sunset jet ski tour. So much fun. Had absolute blast doing that. And then the other thing is like, because Darwin is like croc territory. Like Darwin is a really croc-infested area, and crocodiles, as you know, are very dangerous animals. So the first thing we asked this jet ski guy is like, are there crocs in the Darwin Harbour where we're jet skiing? And he said no, because there's traps everywhere and it's monitored. So it's highly unlikely there'd be a croc, which I guess we're willing to go in on the highly unlikely clause. Even though like if you like come face to face with a croc, the croc's going to kill you. And then the next day, we went to the casino that night. We were staying at the casino. I won $175, which is cool, whatever, just playing roulette. Put it all on 23, which is my mum's birthday, and it came up. What a coincidence. And then from there, we went swimming in like this natural water hole, which that one I was kind of much more conscious that they said it was a low croc risk, again, because of traps and monitoring, but it was just an open water hole that was so deep no one could touch the ground. I'm like, there's no way they can guarantee there's no croc in this water. But it was really fun. The flight to Darwin's like 4.5 hours. It's actually crazy because even coming back from Europe, when you're in Europe and you're doing internal flights, they're all like 90-minute flights sort of max. You fly from Spain to Paris in an hour and a half. You fly from you fly from London to Dublin in an hour and a half. Whereas in Australia, you fly from Melbourne for 4.5 hours and you don't even leave the country. You're just on the other side of the country, to give scope on how big Australia actually is as a country. Like 4.5 hours doesn't even get you out of it. And it's like 5 hours to Perth. Whereas you could probably fly across most of Europe if you flew for 5 hours. I don't know. Had a good time. It was a lot of fun. And then obviously it was a long weekend here. And that's been good. To get into like some stuff that's been kind of trending this week that I wanted to talk about, I did want to start by chatting about the new Beatles song. The Beatles have put out their final song, Now and Then, that was created with AI restored vocals from a cassette demo John Lennon made of the song when he was alive. I listened to the song. I think it's incredible. I really like it. It's really fascinating for a number of reasons. And I remember when this was announced, I actually talked about it on this podcast. And it's weird it's finally here. Obviously, a lot of Beatles chat on the pod recently because I went to see Paul McCartney and everything. But I guess for me, like, this song does feel so important in so many ways. And I will get to that. But, you know, both Paul and Ringo, who are the only surviving Beatles, have vocals on it in that bit that I just played. And they also produced this music video for it, which is quite a special music video that shows a lot of like Paul playing next to young Paul and Ringo drumming next to young Ringo, and showing all these different eras of the Beatles playing alongside the current Beatles. Such a profound moment, such a profound and poignant moment. And I think this song is so important in pop culture, and because I think it's almost like a bookend of one of the biggest pop culture artifacts of the last 100 years. You know, the Beatles were putting music out in the 60s. It's now 2020. Okay, so it's been, 60 years, right? The song, like lyrical content of the song, which is Now and Then I Miss You, you know, all these kind of things with that very ghostly sort of voice of John Lennon. And I find John Lennon's voice, maybe I wouldn't have described it as such in the past, but I do think, like, you listen to songs like Imagine and some of his other songs, he does have this really, I don't know, ethereal voice, like this ghostly kind of spirity, shrill voice, even though it's such a beautiful voice. Like it has those kind of tendencies. So when you listen to this song, it does kind of feel like, and I guess this is what it's supposed to evoke, or maybe we're all just seeing it evoke this because we want to. Like, it does feel like the ghost of John Lennon kind of speaking to you, or speaking to the other Beatles, or speaking about his life, you know? And I really appreciate that they put the work in to bring this song to life, that, you know, was so much technology was required to make it possible to do this. And I just think it's phenomenal what they've achieved with the song, with the music video. And, you know, you watch the documentary, this little 12-minute documentary short they did, in which they basically talk about how James Cameron, who did, no, not James Cameron, sorry, Peter Jackson, not James Cameron, Peter Jackson, who did the Beatles Get Back documentary series on Disney+. It was him who developed this technology to strip the cassette demos, to strip the vocal and the piano. And for people who don't work in sound, I guess, like, if something's just on one track altogether, like vocal and piano all just on a cassette demo, in the past, like, it's pretty much impossible to have separated that. But what Peter Jackson did was develop this technology that could do it. And I was speaking to my friend from work, Darcy, who's an audio engineer, and he was saying, I thought that would never be possible to do. And now it's just happening. And like, it is quite crazy that the technology that's been able to build this into a song. And when I say it bookends this moment of pop culture, like, this is the last Beatles song. This is the last song that will ever feature the four Beatles sort of together, all on one track, which I guess we would have thought had already happened, but it just feels special for it to like officially be that now. And I think lyrically the song, just retroactively, even though John Lennon wrote this song not about this, but retroactively it feels like all the Beatles singing and playing about their time together. It's quite special, and I'd be keen to know if you liked it or not, so let me know in the comments and everything like that. But yeah, such an incredible closure to the saga of the Beatles. And obviously, like, Paul and Ringo are still alive, but I think it's really special that they did this before one of them died as well. So yeah. Hey, I realized last week on the show, because at the start of the show now I do this thing where I'm like, today on the show, this, like 3 topics, all right? And then I come up with like a clever little, well, I think they're clever little, like, the 20th Century Boy, the show that this week it was the show that's on Not Like Donkey Kong, right? If you have any of those, help me, because those take a while to write as well. Basically, I mentioned in last week's episode at the top of the show, I'm trying to find a sponsor for my 29th birthday, and then didn't end up talking about that at all, which was funny. I just forgot to talk about it, but teased it at the start. So, hell of a tease for you to tease it, and then it never comes to fruition. But if you've been following this show for a while, every year I try to get a sponsor, and I feel like I'm a sponsor for my birthday. And in the past, I've had Grilled and Typo for my 27th and 28th birthday, respectively. And I feel like I'm quickly running out of time to find a sponsor for my 29th birthday. But I did see, like, a potential angel that could have come to the rescue on TikTok. And I did talk about this in my first episode back from my trip, where I mentioned that Arnott Shapes commented on my TikTok. And I thought, wow, this could be my only chance to get a sponsor for my 29th birthday. Like, Arnott Shapes, please sponsor my birthday. And so I wanted to do an official pitch to Arnott Shapes. Arnott Shapes, I've been a big fan of you ever since I was a kid. I love your shapes. I think you make fantastic products. And I'm hereby officially asking you to please get in touch with me to sponsor my 29th birthday. All I'm asking is probably just a few free boxes of shapes, maybe a gift card of some sort. Please sponsor my 29th birthday. In the past, we have had Grilled sponsoring my 27th birthday and Typo sponsoring my 28th birthday. Please get on board and officially sponsor my 29th birthday. Come to the rescue. I can't have a birthday without a sponsor, and I think Shapes might be the best way forward this year. I think it's mutually beneficial. I think so many people will see it and be like, great, Shapes, awesome, I'm going to get a box, fantastic, right? I think it's going to work. So Shapes, please get on board and sponsor my 29th birthday on behalf of everyone here from my podcast. We would love, I could do some shape giveaways. Give me something I can give away on the show. Would love to do that. As well as that, and clearly a lot of just pitching and reaching out to people, because I wanted to do a quick update on something I talked about last week as well. During the week, I finally received my Blink-182 album package. I got my CD version of One More Time, just as a collection. I've got all the Blink-182 CDs and one vinyl, and my Blink-182 One More Time t-shirt as well, which is awesome. They finally came. I ordered them a long time ago. They finally came. And again, last week on the show, I talked about how my dream would be to interview Blink-182 on this podcast. Turned it into a clip. Did get a bunch of traction. Thank you so much to everyone who tagged Blink-182, who tagged Mark, Tom, and Travis and affiliates, trying to get the attention of them to, when they are in Melbourne in February, do an interview on my podcast. It would be an absolute dream come true. Mark, Tom, and Travis, like, again, this is my pitch. I was the first person in the world to review your album. I would absolutely love to interview you, right? And I'm sure there were haters. I'm sure there were haters going, Mike, you'll never do it. They'll never come on your podcast. In fact, I know they're out there, right? And yes, it is a long shot. You know, we're certainly not one of the biggest podcasts in the country, but I think I could do a better interview than anyone else. And I maintain that. I think that a lot of people started reaching out to me in my DMs. People sort of that had tips on how I could actually get to people who could make this happen. And I wanted to shout those people out. You know who they are, who said, hey, this is like the promoter that's bringing them down. This is sort of someone that works for the label that you could email. These are all these people that you could get in touch with that could potentially help you orchestrate this for Blink-182. Now, it is unlikely that it is going to happen, but a boy can dream, okay? And it would be an amazing payoff if someone was like, yeah, you can have 10 minutes with them. Even 10 minutes would mean the absolute world to me. So thank you to all those people for commenting and supporting. I do have to give you guys all a shout out. It has been absolutely awesome seeing the support around my dream. Some people, I kind of want to read these out just because I felt like so humbled and supported to read some of this. And this is coming from you guys, like the listeners of the show, right? Let's read some of these out just so like if Blink-182 see this as well, they can actually like see the support. You know, Radio Johnny C. Blink-182, I couldn't think of anyone better in Australia to interview you guys than Radio Mike. He's bloody awesome and is the most passionate fan out here. You guys are freaking awesome, so please just spend a few minutes to talk to Mike. Thank you so much. Some random guy who doesn't even follow me from Austria, I'll call him Radio Scubby. Whoops. Welcome to the radio family. Now I want it to happen too. Cheers from Austria and good luck. Radio Ado Potato. Blink-182, Radio Mike is legit your biggest Aussie fan and has everything he needs to make a quality recording for all your other fans. Come on. Radio Crumpled Snakeskin. Blink-182, you really need this heat in Oz. Radio Jace Zek. At Blink-182, at Mark Hoppus, at Travis Barker, at Tom DeLong, let the man interview you. So fun. At H. Mackay. At Blink-182, you're missing out if you don't hit this up. And the comments continue over on TikTok. Didn't go as big as I thought it might on TikTok, which is a shame. I thought it might be one of those ones that just sort of spirals, but lots of people still commenting and tagging. Radio Tommy McDonald. No idea who you are, but I hope you hear from them, dude. This pitch is class at Blink-182. User called Yawn on TikTok. Someone get this into the hands of Blink-182 right now. And then someone said, if you had to remove Blink or Pokemon from existence, what would you choose? And honestly, I can't choose. I really don't think I could choose on that. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for your support. My hopes aren't high, but if this does happen, it'll be one of the coolest things of my entire life. So yeah, thank you so much. Saw another thing. It might be a bit of a shorter episode today. There is a bunch of like content going up, and I'm going to be like, while I'm still going to be doing the 20th Century Boy pod every week, I'm just going to be using this feed from time to time to just put up little bonus content and bonus series. Obviously, at the moment, we're doing the world tour with me and Claire, which you can listen to every week on a Monday. So it's basically 2 episodes a week at the moment, and this feed is just going to be like, it's 20th Century Boy, but any bonus stuff that I want to put out, I'm just going to put it on this feed. So I hope that's cool with you guys. It's just a way to like evolve the pod and use the feed as much as possible. Online today, I saw an official statement from Nintendo explaining that a live-action Legend of Zelda movie is officially in the works. Now, long-time listeners of this pod will know, like, I'm not a massive Zelda fan in terms of the games, but I am a huge supporter of, like, good movie adaptations of video games. But I already think this is going to be terrible, and I think it's a mistake. And I'll explain why in the next few minutes, as in right now, starting from now. So, first of all, and this was confirmed by Miyamoto, who is the creator of Mario, Zelda, many popular Nintendo franchises. He said, I'll try and find the official message that he put out. What does he say? This is Miyamoto. This is from the official Nintendo Twitter account. This is Miyamoto. I've been working on the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad, who is a producer, who has produced many mega-hit films. I have asked Avi to produce this film with me, and we have now officially started the development of the film with Nintendo itself heavily involved in the production. It will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it. Very interesting. There were rumors a few years ago that a Netflix adaptation of Zelda was in the works, but then it leaked and Nintendo didn't want to go forward with it anymore, so it got cancelled, but now it's officially happening. This Avi guy, Ari, he has produced, I will admit, his producing credits involve a lot of superhero movies like Hulk, Spider-Man, a bunch of stuff like that, as well as and then the director Wes Ball is the director of the Maze Runner series. That's all he's directed. And personally, I think the Maze Runner is some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. Sorry if you're a fan of it. But my problem with this Legend of Zelda movie announcement is that it shouldn't be live action. And I know that might be a hard pill to swallow, but you look at earlier this year, the Super Mario Brothers movie came out, animated, looks like the games, instantly recognizable as the games, and it was a box office smash. Whether you like the movie or not, it was a box office smash. I just feel like they should be continuing in that style for any future movie adaptations. That being animated, stylized, and true to the source material. I really worry about how they'll handle a live-action Zelda movie, and I think that it's going to be bad. I think they're just going to get it wrong. The tone will be too serious, but they'll try to make it goofy, and I just really think it should be animated. And I'm so surprised that with the success of the Mario movie that they are choosing to not animate this movie, that they're choosing the live-action route. A lot of people have already speculated on some of the casting that might happen, and so many people are saying that Tom Holland is going to play Link, and I actually think that is so likely to happen. I think that's so... Because if it's not Chris Pratt, who's probably way too old to be Link, Tom Holland is the next person down to just be the every white man character. So I do think Tom Holland will almost certainly be Link. I think Chris Pratt could actually be a good Tingle. If you've played the Zelda games, Tingle is this little green elf guy, and I think it would be a funny juxtaposition of Chris Pratt's normal roles if they squished him down into this leprechaun elf kind of character, Tingle. But yeah, I'm curious as to what story they'll adapt as well. Obviously, Zelda's known for having some pretty good stories, whether it be Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild. Kind of feels like adapting Breath of the Wild might make the most sense, but then maybe they'll just pull elements from every Zelda series and game. Maybe they'll just adapt the original Legend of Zelda story. I really don't know, but I would love to see, a lot of the characters we know. I think my preference would be that they do Ocarina of Time, which is the Nintendo 64 one that was super popular. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, I'm really unsure about a live action adaptation. I just don't think that it has as much potential as just doing an animated one with voice actors, and it does really concern me for Nintendo. And I guess the other thing is I would have assumed that they'd be following on the Mario movie with a sequel or a Donkey Kong spin-off or just building an animated universe of Nintendo movies. Now it feels like if they do this Zelda movie and it flops, then it's going to be ages until they feel brave enough to do a animated one after that. Or if it's really successful, then we'll probably never get an animated one, which, yeah, I think is also kind of disappointing. Overall, excited, but very tentative and cautious, and I don't think it's going to be good. On the day that I'm recording this is just a funny one that just came up. Optus, which is a telecom, a phone provider in Australia, is completely down, network-wide. So you can't send texts with Optus, you can't use roaming internet. So if you're out on the street away from your Wi-Fi, you've got nothing. Like you can't do anything on your phone, essentially. And it's just incredible that this can happen to such a major phone provider, like a service provider in Australia in 2023. Like, how has the entire service gone down? Is there literally just like a switch that you can turn on and off and someone's accidentally turned it off? Because I don't understand how everything was working normally yesterday and now I can't use my phone outside because I am with Optus. It feels so weird that I guess when we're young, we think that companies and big businesses are like really sophisticated and put together and have all this like, you know, workflow and redundancies that something like this could never happen. Then you grow up and you realize that the world is literally held together by sticky tape and we're all just doing our best to stop everything from caving in, and everything is flawed. Everything is not working how it should, and someone's just done like a cheap sticky tape repair to it that it's eventually going to fail on them, and then they'll just like it's just no good. Because like I remember last year Optus got hacked and everyone's Optus data got leaked, including mine. So mine's out there somewhere, and I remember I remember being like, then I'm going to leave Optus, I'm going to go get another plan, and then I just didn't. I just stayed with them for some reason. But now it's like, well, come on. Like, if they're not going to give us reimbursement for this, I surely have to leave Optus. And so many businesses like rely on Optus to like get their like pay machines to work. So many businesses just can't trade today. So much of society today in Melbourne is completely fucked, and no one can do anything about it. And Optus are not saying anything. It's just a complete fail of epic proportions. And it does make you lose faith in literally everything when one of the biggest companies can have a fuck up of this level in 2023. I genuinely do think the older I get, the more I realize that no one actually knows anything. And like, there's sometimes this big conspiracy that like, there's these people that are secretly running the world behind the scenes that are controlling the government that we elected. But then I actually think it is scarier that the people we elect into power are just the people we chose, and they actually are running the country because they're so stupid. Like, no one... Here's the thing. If you ever feel like an imposter, if you ever have imposter syndrome, if you ever feel like everyone else is better than you, which is a common trait with people with anxiety, right? Just remember that nobody else in the world has any idea what the fuck is going on right now. Every single person gets up in the morning the same way you do and just goes, oh shit, I got to do this again. That's what we're all doing. No one in this world is getting up going, I know what is going on. Everyone's making it up. Everyone's like, yeah, I guess this is what I do. And then everyone fucks up at work and goes, oh, I'm going to like sticky tape this back together. And then the sticky tape eventually fails, as I said. Never feel like an imposter. Never feel like everyone else knows. Everyone's just lying. Some people are just really good at pretending that they know what's going on. They don't, I promise. I guarantee you. And I'm the first one to put my hand up and say, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I have absolutely no idea. I make everything up every day. I wake up every morning thinking, oh, fuck, now I got to do this again. And to be honest, that's why I'm not scared of death, because I know it's the end to this perpetual cycle of me having no idea what's going on ever. And you should feel the same way. Okay, that's a little wisdom I'm dropping on you on the podcast this week. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about literally anything. Don't ever feel like other people are better than you. Okay, because they're not. They have no idea. They're just good at making shit up. If you get good at making shit up and pretending that you're good at stuff, you'll be fine. That's what you got to do. You just got to lie to yourself. If you're one of those people whose brain goes, I'm not good, nothing's good for me, everyone gets it more than me, you just got to like reverse that. Be like, I am good. I do get it. If you lie to yourself, that's what I do. I lie to myself. I'm like, I get it. Yeah, I'm good. I get what's going on. I don't. P.S. I don't. But you just have to tell yourself. You just have to tell yourself. So yeah, keep that in mind. That was an unintentional rave. I should keep a list of unintentional raves I go on this show. Moving on though, on the flight home, I watched the first episode of season 2 of the TV show Invincible. Man, if you have not watched this show, watch it. It is, no joke, one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. It's an animated, like adult animation called Invincible. It's a superhero show, but it is just so much better than any of the other shit out there. Like, it was on in like, it aired in like 2020 or 2021 maybe. And then that was season 1. And then season 2 didn't air till literally like last week. So I've been waiting so long because the ending to season 1 was epic. And I think this show is so good. Like, first of all, the animation's amazing. But second of all, it is such an incredible way of like reversing a lot of common superhero tropes and just like really great character development, really great story arcs. Feels like a lot of what's happening now, like it feels like, you know, Dragon Ball Z or like an anime kind of style show in a way, but like the writing is just incredible. Like it's just such a strong show, strong animation, and I honestly wanted to highly recommend this show to everyone to check out because it's been such an awesome thing to watch. And, you know, it's got, what's that guy's name? J.K. Simmons, who's just one of the best actors ever. And he's just like, he plays basically, and you find this out at the start. So like, this isn't really a spoiler at all, but you find out in the first episode that like, basically it's like the equivalent of the Justice League or the Avengers in this world is led by the character that J.K. Simmons plays. And, turns out he's the villain and he's like an unstoppable, he's like a Superman superhero with all those kinds of powers. And he's the true villain, which you find out in the first episode. But that reversal in itself is just such a shock and it just takes you by such surprise. And then you're trying to figure it out for the rest of the series, what the hell's going on. And it's his son that's the main character who thinks his dad's a hero. It's very complex, very complicated, and just, yeah, I just find it so engaging to watch, like the characters and the stories. And it's like, it's not like 20-minute episodes. It's 45 to an hour. Like you sit down and get into it and you're like hooked to the TV for the whole hour. It's not one of those shows where you like scroll on your phone while you watch it. It's one of those shows where you can't look away the whole time because it's that good. I think we'll wrap it there for today. I will finish with this. The plug. Patreon.com/Radio Mike. The Pat and Mike Show will be back very, very soon. Live show tickets, get in the Discord. There's also going to be a discount for Patreons. RadioMike.com.au/tickets. Would love to see as many of you there as possible. I've done a few guest podcasts that will be coming out very, very soon. So I've been putting a list together so I can plug them when they are out, but that's pretty much it for now. I'll be doing some videos during the week, so check in there. My name's been Radio Mike, and this has been The Inside of My Mind. I'll see you next week. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, radiomikepod@gmail.com.